Mariganya. You're listening to the Blue Review.
Hi, I Josep Pui, and you're watching the Blue Review.
No lasers.
No, lasers are for winners.
They are for winners. The Dodgers this morning, not a winner. They lose last night at Oracle Park to the San Francisco Giants. 3-1 the final score. Welcome to the Blue Review for a Wednesday presented by LAX. Well, the Blue Review is presented by LAX, not necessarily Wednesday. Anyway, I'm Marcas Grant. That's Greg Bergman.
If you like.
That's Greg Bergman. Not a sparkling night for the Dodgers. Just a rough one all around, huh?
Yeah, no, it was pretty rough all the way around. The offense decided that they don't want to play baseball, and that's we all have theories on why things are happening. You're going to get into yours.
Yeah.
That's the Coors Field theory. It just adds to another thing that shoot it into the sun, because that place is a house of horrors that destroys baseball teams the next day after they play.
There's a little bit of not minty aftertaste when you leave Coors Field.
Yes,
that happens to baseball teams. I'll get to that in a second, though. But do want to let you know, as always, that the Blue Review is powered by LAX. We're taking off. Learn more about all the incredible changes happening now at LAX by going to lawa.org/ESPN. So, do we want to get to bats being sleepy, or do we want to start with Yama? Because it didn't start off as a good night for Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Gave up 3 runs in the first inning. But after that, he looked like Yama again. That part was good.
Yeah, no, that part was great. He really struggled in that first inning. I don't know what that was, but this happens every year at some point, and it happens a couple times a year that we come back the next day and go, was he tipping his pitches? Because he's too good of a pitcher to be giving up that many runs and to be getting that hit. But something changed after the first inning, because all of a sudden you look and his pitch count was efficient. He was getting strikeouts. At one point, I think in the 6th inning, he struck out the side, and they were all with dirty pitches. Yeah. So he looked really good. It just, that first inning, it was walks, it was hits, and they just kept the line moving over and over again. He was lucky to keep it down to 3. That could have been a much, much bigger blowout of an inning. And to his credit, which really good pitchers do, they give up what they do in the first inning and just cruise the rest of the way.
Yeah, just that rough first inning, he kind of struggled with his command a little bit. He gave up a couple of hits. One of them, the RBI hit to Jung-Hoo Lee was just kind of a little flare that fell in front of Kyle Tucker. I mean, it was just a really bizarre inning, and you could see the frustration on Yama's face. And then after that, he just sort of shook it off, and he went back to being Yamamoto again. So that part was good. The part that wasn't so good was that the offense it happens, it seems, almost all the time in Yama's starts. But again, last night, the offense just failed to get anything going against Landon Roop. My theory on this, the next couple of things. One, Roop actually has been pitching well to start the season, and he's very
You mentioned that yesterday, how well he was pitching.
He's heavy off speed stuff, which seems to always give this team problems, like guys who just lead with changeups and curveballs and that sort of thing just seem to give this team problems. So I think that was part of it. The bigger part to me was it just looked like a team that played, a game the night before, had to fly. I mean, it wasn't a cross-country flight, but I'm sure they didn't get into San Francisco and get into their hotels till late night, early morning, and then they just looked sleepy. I mean, it just looked like a group that was sort of sleepy. They hadn't gotten a proper night's rest. So hopefully after last night, they were able to kind of shake that off and wake up a little bit. But it was kind of frustrating because they had chances, Greg. I mean, they had a bases loaded 1-out chance. They got 1 run out of it on a walk to Haesung Kim. And then that was it.
Well, then Alex Call came up and decided to swing at a bad pitch, and he grounded into a double play. And Alex Call had a really interesting night last night.
Yeah.
Well, first there was that. That wasn't the first thing he did, but there was that double play ball that was apt to just killed any momentum whatsoever. That could have been a big inning, and that's the reason Alex Call was in can be debated. But the fact is that he was in there for that day for a second day in a row. I don't know, but it seemed like this, and that's like I was waiting to see when Carlos was going to do it. What I mean, he's the center fielder. I get it, but you are not Andy Pages, and if you're not calling for it, like that's in left field. That's well, it's like left center, but still, in that one, it kind of feels like that was Teo's ball. How I saw it, it looked like it was Teo's ball. How did you see it?
No, I think it was too. Yeah, I'm not sure where Call came from. He just sort of came out of nowhere, and they ran into each other. Fortunately, neither guy seemed to be seriously affected by it, so that part is sort of good. But yeah, it felt like that should have been Teo's, and it also just feels like Teo and Andy Pages obviously have a level of communication. I mean, I know they're very close on the ball club, and Teo's sort of a mentor, but also with them being out there quite a bit, they have a communication that sort of works. I mean, I know they've almost had a couple of near collisions because Pages is basically like, I'm getting everything, get out of my way. There just doesn't seem to be that level of communication there with Alex Call. It kind of makes you wonder, like, I know he's not going to be the everyday center fielder. That's Andy Pages. He's playing too well. He just needed a day off. But is Call going to be the guy they ask to play center field when Pages either needs a break or, knock on wood, nothing happens. But in case something does happen, is Alex Call going to be the guy they put out there? I think that's kind of what we want to know.
I mean, he's the fourth outfielder right now, so I'm not sure who else they would put out, but they would have to bring somebody up. I don't know. You'd still have to figure out that level of communication. But this, by the way, these are mistakes that championship winning teams don't make. I understand that it's early in the season. I understand that it's Alex Call. I understand that, these things happen every once in a while. And you did mention it does happen that, Andy Pages likes to run over people as well, but he is faster than everybody. He has a great arm. Like he is the center fielder, so everybody will back off for him. It's not the case with that. But those are the type of little mistakes that it costs you games. Now, is that the one that cost me? No, the offense didn't hit, but that would have made it. It probably could have. If let's say Pages was there, he makes that catch. He holds the runner at third instead of them falling onto the ground and allowing the runner on third to
score.
You had to score. No, when you tag up.
Yes.
Tag up and then go down there. Sorry, it's still early. I haven't had enough coffee yet. But either way, so I just little mistakes, and that just looks like a sweet embrace from Teo and Alex.
It does.
But it hurt. It hurt.
So yeah, just a little bit of a hiccup in the outfield there between Teo and Alex Call. Again, fortunately, everybody seemed to be okay because it definitely could have been a whole lot worse depending on how things had ended up. So that part, but the offense, it was a struggle again for the offense last night. The positives: Shohei kept the on-base streak going. It is now at 53. Tied with Sean Green for the second longest in Dodger history, 5 back of Duke Snider for the all-time Dodger record. So that part was good. Beyond that, there weren't many positives to take away from the offense last night. They combined for 12 strikeouts. Mentioned they blew a big chance with the bases loaded in the 4th inning. Could only get the 1 run out of it. Had a chance to tie, maybe take the lead. It just was kind of one of those nights. I don't know. It was a different lineup. No Will Smith, no Andy Pages, but just guys just not coming through yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, and you're going to lose games, so that's fine. But yeah, that was. I mean, you managed only 3 hits and, like you said, 12 strikeouts. This is like we talked about it too with Coors Field. Coors Field, the ball doesn't move as much as it does somewhere else. So. Everywhere else. So if you see they saw basically no movement on Sunday or on Monday. They saw basically no movement from pitches, and so they're like, "Oh, we can just hit the hell out of everything that comes our way." And then they get to AT&T or Pac Bell or
Oracle.
Yeah, God, why do they have to change the name so often? Yeah, so Oracle, and they see like, okay, this ball's moving, and it's with pitchers like you mentioned that have a lot of movement. I'm noticing too. Have you noticed guys on that team specifically throw a lot of splitters? It was all the way through up and down their line, and that's a pitch that is just a dangerous pitch in general. I mean, I know that the Dodgers have a lot of dudes that do it also, but and remember when we mentioned yesterday that Justin Robleski is trying to learn it as well.
Mhm.
It's a pitch that is really hard for people to get an eye on. It's a tough pitch to hit. So if the more that we see that pitch, it's going to be dangerous for a lot of hitters.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an organizational thing. I go back to watching the Giants as a kid, and Roger Craig, when he was the manager, really made it a thing for that. But obviously it's been many years. So I don't know if it's a thing that has just stayed in the organization that they teach all their pitchers, or they just happen to have a bunch of guys who throw it right now. So I don't know, but yeah, they definitely kind of spammed that thing. I mean, I got the sense pretty early watching last night. I mean, even that first at bat when Shohei struck out, just on a lot of soft stuff down and away, and they really weren't going to
reaching all the way out for that pitch.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but it also kind of gave me this feeling of it could be one of those nights where they are sort of just flailing away at things. Now, I kind of hope that, you've seen with this team, third time through the lineup a lot, they seem to figure things out. That just didn't really happen yesterday.
Max Muncy did one of those too. He was swinging wildly at pitches too. It was a rough night for everybody.
Yeah. Max, I can sort of see, right? Because he was so hot in Colorado. You just figure I was swinging everything because who knows what's going to happen. And I sort of feel like that's kind of what happened there. But one thing it did spawn last night, as you pointed out in our text chat, both you and Anthony Witrado pointed out, there's discontent among the Blue faithful. I don't buy it. But you have people in your Twitter mentions last night basically saying that Shohei is, I don't know, is he cooked? Is he washed? Like what I don't buy it. I think this is people just, talking just to talk, but it seems like people are upset with Shohei now.
So, okay, this is Ken from Newport Beach. And if anybody knows Ken from the radio, he is a curmudgeon. He thinks everything's the worst thing in the world. Every one loss and the world is ending. He does it with the Lakers. He does it with the Dodgers. And he was, he likes to tweet at me and people at the station that everything is horrific. So this was the tweet. And I love you, Ken. If you're listening right now, I truly do. He says, "Hi there. Love your work. Better than Ohtani. Gone downhill. Not even all-star anymore. In 22 games, he has 11 RBI. And he's third on the team in home runs with 5. How dare he? He's got 1 stolen base and leads the team with 24 strikeouts. Maybe they don't pay him enough." No, actually, if you want to go that way, they pay him $2 million a year and then overall $700 million. So I think he's going to be just fine. But also, come on, man. I think he has a 0.5 ERA. He does have 5 home runs. I believe his OPS is around 900. He just is just like everybody. What do you call him? You call him a Costco hitter, right?
He's a Costco hitter. Yeah. He'll in bulk. He's going to be fine. For the record, he does not lead the team in strikeouts. He's second to Max Muncy. So that part.
I would be more worried about Kyle Tucker, if you want me to be honest. He's swinging and missing at everything. So if you want to talk about a guy up there in strikeouts, Tucker's not too far behind these guys, and he's a guy that does not strike out like we've talked about a ton.
Yeah, that's his thing. He generally puts the bat on the ball, but he has not been doing that. I'm not worried about Shohei, and I don't think most reasonable thinking people are not worried about Shohei. I know Brandy says Sho's not looking like himself at the plate this season. I don't know. He went through one of those stretches last year. I mean, he went through one of those stretches in the playoffs last year, right? Remember, it was a big deal that he went out and he took batting practice before the game on the field because he knew he was kind of slumping. So he goes through these. Yeah, it's not ideal. I mean, we'd love to have him mashing 162 games, but that's just not going to happen. So I'm really not worried about Shohei Ohtani. Now, what I think could make us a little more concerned about Shohei, as you mentioned, is Kyle Tucker. Because if Tucker's not hitting, then if I'm a pitcher, I have less reason to really want to challenge Shohei. If I feel like I can get the guy behind him out, and right now, Tucker's just not hitting, especially in big situations, that would make me a little more hesitant to actually go after Shohei Ohtani. It's like, hey, man, if you chase, great. If you don't, then I'll deal with the guys behind you because they're not picking up the slack. So I think the Tucker thing, to your point, Greg, is probably a little more worrisome than whatever's happening with Shohei at this point.
Yeah, I think it's a great point too, because other pitchers don't care about your on base streak. So if they just walk, he's not like, oh my God, he's coming up on, was it Duke Snyder? He's coming up on Duke Snyder with 58. You can't let him get there. He can't get the all-time Dodger record of on base streak. I don't think that's the way that they're thinking. If it was something like, the Joe DiMaggio, if he was trying to go for 56 game hitting streak, maybe it's a little different. There's a little bit something going on there, but no. And this is just rude, Carlo. I can't believe you put up Kyle Tucker wishes. Will you bring him Michael Conforto thing? By the way, in the text chat, you called him what?
Tuck Conforto. Kyle Tuck Conforto. Yeah.
What is it? What is it with outfielders that they get that is? I mean, Kyle Tucker and Michael Conforto, two very different people. Michael Conforto was not supposed to be worth $60 million like Kyle Tucker. He is really struggling right now. I hate this though. This
I mean, I say it jokingly, but the Cubs apparently won the trade. I know it wasn't an actual trade, but they won the trade.
Yeah, pretty much.
They give Michael Conforto to the Dodgers.
I will put real money on realapp.com or just to you that at the end of the year, Kyle Tucker's numbers will be higher and much better than Michael Conforto.
I agree. I think that's going to happen. I think it's going to even itself out. But it has been a rough start to Kyle Tucker's Dodger career. I mean, I'm looking at just some of the, the barrel rate. If you're interested in that, is down.
Jeff Spiegel's in town, huh?
Down. Somebody's got to pick up the slack on a Wednesday when Jeff's not here. The barrel rate is down. The hard hit rate is down. I mean, there are definitely things that are a little bit out of whack with Kyle Tucker.
What happened to swing percentage? Because obviously it's way down.
Yeah, that's a good question. Let me see if I can find that.
He's just swinging missing at everything right now. He has no feel for the plate at all. He is a very patient hitter, and he walks a lot. And like we've mentioned many times before, if you're new to the Blue Review, he's never had more than 95 strikeouts in a season. And right now he has 23, 21.
23. So he's on pace for over 162, well over 100 for sure.
So he's on pace to double his strikeout rate, which is crazy for his career. He doesn't do it. He doesn't strike out that much. So something is happening that he really needs to figure out. And I'm sure I don't know him well enough from watching him on other teams, the Cubs and the Astros, but this doesn't seem like his MO, and he's going to have to figure out the swing and miss.
Yeah. A lot of people saying that he's pressing. I think there is some of that too, right? I think he hasn't gotten off to the start that he wanted, and he wants to contribute as part of this lineup. Also, I mean, part of it, Greg, I mean, if you want to just be cynical about it, this was a contract where he sort of bet on himself, right? He needed a shorter deal than what he could have gotten in other places, because the thought process was, I go to LA, I hit, I produce, and then I can turn this into a really big payday in a couple of years. I know it's just 23 games or so into this.
We're still so early
into this, but I think there's an element of, hey man, I gotta get in gear, just because it's going to matter down the line at some point. So
see, but the thing is, he does have an opt out after the second season.
Yes.
But also that second is a player opt out. So I mean, if it was a team opt out, I probably feel a little bit better because there's no way that if he continues to have a bad season and it's bad next year, there's no way he's opting out in the third season for $60 million. So they'll find some way out of it because the Dodgers always do. But again, it's still way too early. Right now, you're having Dalton Rushing hitting, was it 7 home runs and 20
right.
appearances? I guarantee you when we get to June, he probably is not going to be anywhere around 10. It just happens to guys all the time. We mentioned Benny Bye-bye Agbayani yesterday. I wonder if you have 3 mentions in the last 3.
That's, you know what? It's just the more we can work him in, I think the better off we're going to be on this show. You speak of Dalton Rushing. I mean, geez, the OPS at over 1,600 right now. The slug at 12. It's 1207. Yeah, I think the X Banana would be off the charts if anybody actually calculated that anywhere. So, yeah, he's running hot right now for sure. So. That part. Tonight, game 2 of the series from Oracle Park, a 6:45 first pitch scheduled. I was like looking at this and I saw 9:45. I'm like, oh wait, that's Eastern time. Okay. I was really confused for a second. Shohei Ohtani getting the start for the Dodgers going against Tyler Mahle. Do we think Shohei DHs tonight, or is it just a pitcher only night for Shohei?
So that was going to be my question too. And I think he goes back to hitting. I think that was a one-time thing that he's going to do. And maybe he does it, he pitches about 4 times a month. I bet he might do it once a month just to get him off his feet a little bit and just let him focus on pitching. But I don't think this is going to be a thing. But we'll see tonight. I think tonight is going to be very, very telling. If he doesn't DH, then this is going to be a thing for a little while. That means that they are actually looking at that. If he does, which I think that he will, with no insight whatsoever of what's going on in Dave Roberts' mind, then it's not. It's real. So tonight really is very telling, and I wouldn't be upset either way. But the fact is, you need Ohtani in this lineup, and he needs to know that he can do both. He knows he can do it, but you have to be ready for that for the postseason to be doing those up and downs. So I don't think he will, but it will be very telling if he does.
Yeah, so definitely keep an eye out for that when the lineups are announced this afternoon. See if he's going to be DHing or if he is pitching only. Tyler Mahle getting the start for the Giants. And what worries me about Tyler Mahle is that I see he's 0-3 with a 7.23 ERA. And we just know those guys against the Dodgers suddenly turn into Cy Young candidates.
Of course.
I can't explain it. I don't understand it, but it just seems to be the thing. It's when they're showing up against the Paul Skeneses of the world, this offense seems to lock in and figure out a way to succeed. It's when they're facing the guys who are potentially on the shuttle back to AAA that all of a sudden everything looks terrible. And I don't understand why.
And then you add in the fact that Oracle Park is one of the biggest pitcher's park in all of baseball. So that makes it also difficult to hit at. That's why, it's low scoring all the time. So yeah, I will be, you say it every single time and I love it because you're absolutely right. Whenever some random dude is the biggest Cy Young candidate out there and everything Mahle's been around for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was on the Reds for a little while there, wasn't he?
Yes.
And so they've seen him before, but at the same time, yeah, every day is a new day. And I think these dudes, it's so frustrating. If you just look at ERA and WHIP, he's got a 1.93. That means he's just giving hits after hit after hit. So they should win. They need to win. I don't know. Are you worried at all? Not worried, but are you concerned at all that they're tied for first place?
I I really stopped to think about it. No, but I'm selfish. I just want them to be in first place by themselves as long as possible. And the Padres they started 1-4. Since then, they are 12-3. I don't think they keep that going for a long time. Look, they've had a fairly nice schedule. They have they played the Angels, who I don't know if the Angels are good or not. I can't figure out the Angels. It seems like they're they're doing things, and Mike Trout is hitting again, and that's fun. But they're also 3 games below 500. Now they're in Colorado, where they won a 1-0 game last night in Colorado, which
That's
is
crazy.
Well, I think I saw Sarah Lang say it was just the 12th 1-0 game in the history of Coors Field. So the Padres are running hot right now. They're tied for first place. They've what is this? They won like 9 of their last 10 or 10 of their last 11, something like that. But you know,
they
might have to revise their win total. It may be more than 70 something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably. But I mean, they have a great bullpen, and Mason Miller is, if you get it to Mason Miller, it's game over.
It's lights out.
It's lights out at that point. But also, I mean, that he's at lights out right now. At some point, he's going to start giving it up. It's going to happen. Like, perfect for the entire season. So, yeah, we'll see. I also never trust. They're like the Clippers to me. I know that's an easy comparison, but they just never come through when you need them to. So, I don't really worry about them. It's more so of like, okay, you're an annoying little gnat. Get out of here.
Yeah. I don't know. It could be worse. They could be the Mets.
Yeah, 12 in a row. And in a horrific fashion. I feel bad for Nolan McLean, man. Dude, that's twice that I've seen.
Man, he's so good. But that team right now is so bad overall. Man, 12 in a row, 7-16 for the New York Metropolitans. Bad news for them. Bad news, at least temporarily, is that we're done for today. That'll do it for this edition of the Blue Review presented by LAX. Thanks to Carlo for production assistant. Thanks to everybody in the chat for hanging out and participating and just generally being awesome along with us. So stick around for the Sedano Cap Morning Extravaganza. There it is. Things you can get in dozens. Eggs, roses, Mets losses. Yikes.
Beautiful by the Twins right there.
Stick around for the Sedano Cap Morning Extravaganza. In the meantime, for Greg, I'm Marcus, back with you tomorrow, 6:30 to 6:55 here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. See ya.